again. There you go. So, like I said, there are multiple ways to go about the trimming process. I just cut my bat, clean off my bat. I'm going to take my bowl carefully, trying not to warp it or distort it. You got to remember, this is really working with the idea of a nice level piece, a nice symmetrical piece. If your piece is not nice and level, nice and symmetrical, it makes it a little difficult. So I'm getting it lined up. I give a little light tapping. Again, it's not distorting anything. And it's feeling pretty good. You're going to get some firm clay, and you're going to create a thick coil. And from that coil, you're going to rip little lugs. And what I do is, I'm going to hold down my bowl and press the lug down into the bat. These become stoppers to prevent my piece from sliding out. Do not press into your pot. Press down into the bat or the wheel head. The reason why I'm not doing the wheel head is because I have the bat pins in it. So therefore that would make it a little difficult. And I have a nice triangle shape. Another trick is, and you're going to see I'm going to be a little off center, I can draw a circle. And if I really did a super perfect job of everything, I can see that skinnier here, thicker there. I slide towards the skinny spot a little bit. And that's going to also help get me centered. Prior to flipping, I was feeling the inside of my bowl, trying to feel the thickness that I have, right? Right now, I'm drawing a little mark. I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to keep that as my foot, and then from here to here is going to get depressed into the clay. Since I have my lugs, I can move at a pretty good speed, but I still don't want to be overly aggressive. So you can see the size of the strands I'm taking off. You got to be careful. Sometimes if you push too hard, the tool like literally gets pulled away from you like that, and you end up ripping into your pot. So you want to be a little careful about that. Okay, I start in the center here. I give a tap. I'm listening to the sound and the bass that it makes. The deeper the sound, the thinner your clay is. That means I'm going to take less if I hear a deep sound. Mine's a little deep. I'm going to kind of go in, and then I'm going to spiral out. Towards the edge. I'm holding the tool with both my hands. If I don't hold the tool with both my hands, what I do is I place my thumb against it, and I have my finger touching the edge. That's going to help give me a sense of stability, that I'm not free floating my one hand in the middle of the air. That makes it really, my elbows are resting on my thighs, so I really want a nice stable ground to be working on. That's a much better sound. I compare it to the sound on the side, and they're sounding almost alike. That means I'm getting the same thickness all the way through.
Is you using both hands or using your thumb? How it doesn't end up like all spiraled in the middle?
Well, it's going to spiral if I move the tool across. If I keep the tool straight, there's no spiral. So the slower I go, the less spiral you'll see. Right? So the slower, I'm talking about the tool moving. I can compress the bottom. This is for, again, the idea of S-cracks. I decrease the chances of S-cracks. I'm taking my finger right now, kind of just softening up the edge, rounding the edge. You can do that also lightly with a semi-damp sponge, but I would not use a wet sponge. You really don't want to be introducing water at this stage to your pieces, right? You want to keep the same. Your piece has been pretty equal in moisture at this point. Adding water, you're going to throw that off. So now I have my two lugs. I take them off gently. The piece is a little stuck because there was some moisture, and that's another way to center. Is I can use there was a little moisture on the bat that creates a suction.
How would you get it off afterwards?
A little bit of just a little pop. It just pops off.
Yeah.
Okay, I can feel. I have a nice, good, consistent thickness all the way around. If I didn't, and it was too thick, I can put it right back on the wheel, put the lugs back down, and keep trimming again. So it's not like I trimmed and I'm like, oh, I'm done. I have to see if I did a good job. If I didn't do a good enough job, I'd redo it.